Page 47, When the Saints Go Marching In. Now you get your first real piece that you can play for people if they want to hear you play. Well, let's talk about what this is. Solo repertoire, in case you're wondering. Solo means one. Repertoire is a bunch of pieces, musical pieces. Doesn't have to be musical pieces. Other things have repertoire. I'm going to get into it. It's what you know. It's a collection of stuff you can do. So this is just something you can learn to play for other people. And this is something you keep playing. Even after you continue to go through the book, you keep trying to play this. We have the clef signs. You got 4/4 time. You can see the first measure only has 3 counts in it, so it's a pickup measure. We're coming in on beat 2. You have the phrasing in the right hand. Make sure you lift up between each phrase. You got chords in the left hand, no phrasing, just chords. So make sure you can play each hand one at a time and then together, and work it up very slowly that way. That's loud. Now I'd like to also introduce you to a concept that I call bring out the melody. You see, it takes a certain amount of control over the piano playing, because you can play a note softly or you can play it loud, and you need complete control over how loud or soft you're playing it. That includes when you're playing more than one note at a time. So at the beginning, when I'm playing this, I want to control how loud I'm playing those. Well, I also need the control over the left hand. But there's an idea of supporting the melody, or bringing out the melody. You see, in a piece of music, and most music, it has a melody. It's the melody that you're listening to. Everything else supports the melody. It's there to complement or support the melody. The melody is what it's all about. The melody rules. The melody is what's important. So when that dynamic is given, that F, that applies to the melody. That's loud. You got to keep everything else softer than that, so that we can hear the melody. It should support the melody. It should not compete with it. Most people would play this, the hands the same. Like that. Don't. Bring out the melody means play the melody at the dynamic given, whatever it is, and you make everything else softer. That means you got to learn to play at different dynamic levels at the same time, and that takes practice. You can use scales for this, and I hope you are using the scale, the C major scale, 1 octave up and down. And what you do is you simply, as you're practicing the scale, you play one hand louder than the other, and take turns. One time it'll be the right hand louder. Next time it'll be the left hand louder. And this takes some time to get, but I would encourage you to do. It's so important. So when you play a piece of music, you play the melody loud, and everything else is under it. How much under it is up to you. You have to listen and decide. Keep it under it. So we want to hear the melody, and everything else has to be under it. Just so it's time to start working on that too. Now when it comes to coordinating the two hands, because they have different rhythms, this can get tricky. So let's just talk about a few little tricky spots in here. At the beginning, that whole note in the right hand is tied to a quarter note. You're going to hold it down for 5 counts. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. All the time you're playing these, that's held down. Then they both come up together, so new phrase. Now when you get over to the last two measures of that first line, you have that whole note in the right hand's tied to a half note. You're going to hold it down 6 counts. And while you're holding it down, you're going to play these half notes in the left hand. 2, 3, 4, 1, and then lift up. Then in the second line, first measure, that dotted half note gets 3 counts. Remember, it's the same as 3/4 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the third measure, it's a 1, 2. See, it's the quarter note first, and then a dotted half note. 1, 2, and then on beat 3, you're going to play the F. 1, 2, 3, 4. So watch out on this rhythm. Work it out very carefully. This is one of the reasons we do the hands one at a time, to make sure you can get the rhythm right for the hands. And then when you go to put it together, it can be a whole nother adventure. It really can. So you work all that out and get it working right. Now, when I do the play with me's, I generally play everything about the same because I'm not trying to perform it here. I just want you to hear all the notes. So I can't be playing this too softly. You need to hear them to make sure you're playing the same notes. So I'm going to play them a little louder than I typically would if I were going to play it. So let's try this together. I'm going to give us 5 counts, and we're going to go nice and slow, and we'll play it. Put your hands in C position. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, off. Now there is a teacher accompaniment at the bottom. Now let's try that. I will play that, and you play what you just played. We're going to go about the same speed. I'm not going to speed it up too much. And typically a march time is, how fast would you see a marching band or some marching? How fast would that be? On a metronome, it's usually around 120. But we can slow. Let's just go slow. It's a slow march. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. That's a fine march. We'll go that speed. Now these first 3 notes you have, you're by yourself. But I'll go ahead and play them with you just to help us get started. So go ahead and put your hands in C position, and I'll give us 5 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, go.